Yes, here we go. We ask the bus on a wee Sunday afternoon. Why not? Hopefully you can hear me. If you can't hear me, let me know. It's always a wee bit daunting when you're on your own. In that regard, I can see there's a few years in already, and I hope you're well. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. That'd be a good start, good place to start. Hope we're all doing good. It's been a week where at least there's been a wee bit of action in the park, isn't it? You know, we played on Thursday night just after we'd done the old TNF, and then we did we played again last night in the beautiful setting of Como. Celtic won a penalty shootout. Shin getting the winning goal as well. What was everyone's thoughts on how the big man looks? You know, disallowed goal as well for Shin, and he's a player that I can understand why there's an underwhelming factor. People are surmising from a signing from the J League. I think the Inamura one was viewed very similarly, albeit if Brendan's opinion has swivelled or pivoted pretty quick on that. I dare say we're all capable of doing the same. And I think for Shin, he's one of those players that when he's joining, unfortunately, he's joining when we're looking for a void to be filled, guys. And the void that we're looking to be filled is that of Hugo. And if I'm honest, I think Hugo's void, Hugo kind of vacated before he'd actually left, because I didn't think we were getting the same level of Hugo in the last sort of 12 months, 18 months. You could argue that maybe since Brendan came in, we weren't getting the same effects from Hugo, whether he was a Brendan type player, who knows. But what I will say is it's not Shin's fault that's the circumstances coming in. But what I will say as well is that's important is that he's given every opportunity to become a bona fide Celtic first team player in his own right without those constant comparisons. And I think Brendan will be, in his mind, not looking at Shin to be providing us with what Hugo did, because I don't think that'll be the guy that Brendan would have had in mind to lose what had been, you know, the Celtic's top scorer of the last 3-4 years, you know, for 1.5 million. I think he was someone that was coming in to supplement the forward line options, to add to them, to give Celtic some better competition, to be perfectly honest with you, in such a crucial area. Normal things. We'd be signing Shin. But unfortunately, Celtic, from their point of view, have been so slow in this window in replacing key players. And I've battered this every time I've been on, man. Not just the beer that I've been battering. In fact, it is Sunday. Cheers. That one's empty, don't worry. Only on my second beer, so everyone's safe. You know what I mean? Don't want me getting a wee bit carried away in that. But yeah, I think from the voids that we've got in the team in terms of the vacancies for huge amount of goals, vacuums, that's what I was looking for. There's vacuums of Hugo goals and Nicholas Kuhn contributions, whether it be goals or assists, that we've got to fucking replace. And we've got to get proactive in doing so. Shin, for me, could end up being a real plus point. I liked what I've seen from him. And I think scoring the winning goal in the penalty shoot will do him the world of good. But I don't think he's brought in, as I say, I don't think Brendan will be viewing him as a player who was brought in to replace Hugo whatsoever. I also feel with Nygren strikes me, it was a point I raised with Mark. Nygren's not come in to replace Nicholas Kuhn's goal input. He's came in to add options to a squad, to add maybe options to, should I say, the first team in his interest. My frustrating thing with Nygren is I fucking wonder if that was a player who we could have got in January and paid 3.5 million for and treated the latter stages of the Champions League with, as I always call it, the respect it deserves, because that's really frustrating me. But we'll see how we go with what we've got. I'm not convinced we'll see a Celtic signing this week. Everything seems quiet about anything to base it on. I mean, if Celtic get a transfer made and it's a player comes in and we've just not had any hype about it, we've not heard about any protracted negotiations, then do you know what? It's not the worst thing in the world either. That would mean Celtic are getting on with their business quietly, but fuck me, it seems quiet in terms of the first team. It really, really does. I'll put it to you. How do you feel then if we move on to the Inamura signing? How are you all feeling about him being maybe the backup left back? Maybe like when Scales joined, I don't know if you remember, he was kind of viewed like he was going to be a left back. Obviously, we now associate him as a left centre back. Inamura came in, I think, with a view he didn't really play left back. He was more of a left centre back, but now he's kind of switched. He's done it the other way around, and I wonder if we could be looking at him just being that sort of second option now behind KT. And are you all comfortable with that if that is the case? So I'll bring up comments on that as and when they come in. There's lots in the chat, so a big shout out to you all. Do all that good stuff, as they say. Gives a like, gives a share. Buy some hair. Remember as well, piesports.com. Remember, please hit the subscribe button. And if you have set the subscribe, which most of you watching will have already done, to be honest, we're sitting at 5,095 subs right now, so we're flying. But hit the bell, because I will be on doing sporadic shows like this, and it will be more and more random, the times and dates that I decide that I'm going to jump on behind the wheel and drive the bus for a wee half hour or hour or whatever this turns out, for example. Right, okay. Let's have a wee look. There's Michelle saying hello. Good to have you on. Callum wants to straighten the defence, but a different angle. Great to have you on, Callum. He says, ask the bus, does Trusty start next Sunday after his performance of the day? I mean, for me, Trusty should be looking. I'd be surprised if Trusty a year into his Celtic career now, Callum, with the fee that was involved, the experience that he's got, the levels he's played at, he should be really concerned if he's not playing alongside Cameron Carter-Vickers as our first choice centre back, as part of our first choice centre back pairing on the opening day of his second season. I think it would be a massive message to him if not. But I think for me, he's always been a player that's been overly criticised. Yes, he's got feelings, but they're all going to have certain feelings to them. Otherwise, they wouldn't be coming to Celtic from playing Premier League football. They wouldn't be affordable to us. They wouldn't be open to coming to Scotland and things like this if there's not going to be a few feelings. But notwithstanding that, what else do they bring to the table that is good and is plus points? And I think Trusty has shown us on numerous times a decent level of performance, a calm head, someone who doesn't seem much of a flapper. And I do think it's underestimated sometimes how different Scottish football, how bonkers Scottish football is. There is an adapting phase, guys. Like when you come to Scotland, that I don't think can always just be put down to, oh, if you're quality, then you'll shine no matter what. That's the top bracket of quality you would expect to be able to move to any league and adapt seamlessly and be able to provide stupid high levels of performance for the get-go. I think with the rest, we all need to accept we're signing players with flaws. That's how we've got them attracted or completing moves to us, and then we need to allow for that, I think, settling in period. But to be honest, I would still expect a better season from Austin Trusty this year than what he had last year. It's not to say last season was one that we look at, well, dewy-eyed and think, oh, Austin Trusty was amazing. If we're telling the truth, he obviously wasn't overly impressing Brendan either at times. I think Brendan thought he was still an option that he could use, albeit when he was hooked at half-time, if you remember the cup match at Hampden, I thought Scales should have been given the same treatment when he was having a shocker, and he wasn't. I didn't like that. But if from the Austin Trusty prism, just to finish what I mean here, is he found himself the starting left-sided centre-back to being rotated with Liam Scales by the end of the season. And that tells me that he's got to get through another level in terms of performance that is going to keep the manager's faith high in him and not have us signing another centre-back. Of course, with the Inamura option, if he's performing to a really high level in training and he's continuing to impress the manager, we're not. If KT's going to be playing week in, week out, and fingers crossed, touch wood, his injury issues are behind him, then you've got someone like him who could be, you know, too good or in too good a form or training too well to be getting left out the side, and that left centre back berth could be his. This is the sort of competition I'm referring to, though, guys. When I look at up front, this is the competition that we're looking for. In comes Kenneth Todd with a wee bit of context with Trusty, and I like that. Kenneth, great to have you on. He says Trusty's first season. Yep, agreed. That's what we just spoke about. Because then he's waiting for a baby, so he'll play better this season. I mean, in the words of Roy Keane, he didn't have the baby, did he? He didn't have the baby. But no, I get your point, mate. There's loads of other stuff that goes on in life that can be distracting and stuff like that. But yeah, and that's your point, Callum, and thanks for making it. Use the hashtag #AskTheBus. I'll answer anything tonight. Anything. Celtic related, podcast related, whatever you want. I'm up for it. How the pyramids were built. I think we got onto that once doing one of these. Mark is in, the judge. He said, I think the Boulders now at the stage where they aren't even pretending anymore. Even pretending to care is too much for them. Whether it's too much for them, I don't know, Mark. I think they'll be sitting. I think right now the Bolts' attitude to these playoff qualifiers is we're sitting shitting ourselves. I think deep down that is what they do care. I think they're sitting shitting themselves, but they're too scared to open that wallet as the option to counter it. That option is the one that they're scared both ways. They're scared of the qualifiers and because of the backlash they'll get. They're scared of countering the hurdles that the playoffs provide, or you know, by investing heavily. And they are sitting there desperate, guys, desperate for the outcome really to be Celtic by hook or by crook, either get a really kind draw and get through that way, or scrape through the playoffs somehow, and they get to go. See, all you flappers, right? I mean, you were qualifying, and Brendan was just, I thought you loved that manager. That's what they're hoping for, is the outcome. I'm really nervous about the playoffs coming up. I'm nervous about the new season in general, but I think that's normal. I think everyone will be. But yeah, in terms of them pretending to care, I don't know if it's as much as that. I think they're just in a situation right now where they're so against speculating to accumulate, Mark, that being the what they'll know deep down, the sensible option to take terrifies them that much they can't make it, and they're in no man's land. You know, they're in no man's land with it, and they're just hoping and praying for some sort of favourable result. And you're absolutely right. COVID will not be here to protect them, mate. If it goes this way, I expect the Sharks will out at 10 times now. Mental times could be ahead if that is the case. They could keep pointing to the domestic record, but again, we've seen with Brendan's couple of seasons back now that trebles aren't going to be as easy as they were. We have, and I think Rangers again will be stronger again this time around than what we were. We look at them obviously as the expected challenge for our league title. David is in the chat. Good to have you on, pal. And he's saying Trusty benefiting from a pre-season. Something that we've said Ida and Ingles were folded as an excuse after last season's anticlimactic season. Fucking hell. Read dictionary over the summer, David, you've been reading? Anticlimactic. Fucking hell. No, mate, I get you. I think, of course, any player will benefit from a pre-season. Trusty should have been in for pre-season last year. He's another one that kind of goes under the radar with that. He should have been someone that was signed earlier on in that window. There was no excuse for it. I think with Ida and Engels, it goes without saying. Albeit, I still think because of their price tags, and honestly, I know people say it's nothing to do with that. It's nothing to do with that. I'd say it anyway. I think you're looking for a higher standard of them than you are every other signing. I think you'll see it. I'm going to give a great example. I think you'll see if Shin does a 7 out of 10 display, it'll be regarded as that. If Ida has a 7 out of 10 display, I think he'll be viewed as a 6 out of 10. I think it'll be looked at like that, if that makes any sort of sense. But yeah, 10 Sharks essentially, Matt, of course, mate. Now, you never know. You never know. There's Mark Weir coming in, as always, on the bus, mate. Brilliant to have you. 76 live right now. Keep them coming. Do we need another Damien Duff type on the training pitch, it done Maeda the world of good. Now, I know you say that. Maeda's best season was last year when Damien Duff wasn't there, though. I'm not saying Damien Duff wasn't, by the way, benefiting him, Martin. I'm just playing devil's advocate. I think the Brendan effect on Maeda, it's an interesting, isn't it? Because Brendan seems to get a tune out of Maeda that I think is vastly superior to what we were getting from Maeda under Ange, which is surprising because obviously I think Ange had worked with him before. He was his number one target. I know that much anyway. It was definitely his number one target when he joined Celtic. If you remember, he had to wait till January to get Maeda, but he was actually Ange's preferred choice even over Kyogo. Since Brendan's came in, Maeda's now our next 25 million man, and to tie in with our playoff chat, if that playoff went to go well, again, I'll put a question to you. Please answer. If you just say yes or no, so we can get some sort of vibe as to what people's views are. If the playoff doesn't go to plan or doesn't go as hoped and prayed for, so let's say I don't think it's planned, whatever happens. But if it goes against the grain and that we don't get the result we're looking for, is Daizen Maeda a Celtic player come the closure of the window, when the window closes at the end of August? Very interesting. Just reply yes or no. I'd be really keen. So I know there's Martin doing that stuff, man. That good stuff. He says hit that like button, boys. David, I used ChatGPT to write that. I see what you've done there. You've put a spelling error right. That's good pattern, mate. I like that. Big Phil's in the chat as well. I didn't see his comment, but I did see his name. He's saying Trusty has to establish himself this season properly. While he's rotated so much of skills last season, fingers crossed he is more settled alongside CCB this year. 100%, mate. 100%. He should be able, and he should have the quality required to be able to demand and command, more importantly, Phil, command a first team berth at Celtic. Now, he's well settled. No excuses for him either. I think if he is still getting rotated to help out with skills, then he has to look at himself as much as anyone. And as I say, I'm hoping, maybe again by hook or by crook, by luck, not definition, that Inamura also provides some competition for that area. As for CCV, you can leave him alone, just let him play. I wonder if CCV is someone we could be talking about, guys, as... do you know what? Seeing the modern era of football, he's already at testimonial stage, isn't he? I was going to say Jinky could get to that. I think that's 10 years, isn't it? I think in modern day football, I think 5 seasons. I think that's probably his testimonial stage, to be honest with you. I'll be very, very excited to see CCV with a fully fit campaign again, getting back in his groove. But probably now at 28, I'm going to guess he is 29 maybe. Maybe make a peace with the fact Celtic's going to be his, maybe not final destination, but his settled destination, shall we say. And it'd be very, very intriguing if that were to be the case. CCV being talked about, maybe in another 4 or 5 years has been such a pillar stone for the club. And I really do hope that is the case. It's easy as football fans to get bold at players sometimes, I feel. And almost start nitpicking just because you don't realise it, but you're wanting change just for change's sake, just because that's who you are as a fan. I think in CCV's case, I'm hoping that's not that fans don't ever get that way and start over analysing. He is one of the bedrocks of that team, if not the bedrock. I don't know if you can't have more than one bedrock, can you? Fuck it. He can be the bedrock of the defence. Let's call it that. And of course, with Alistair Johnson going into what will be his fourth season now, did a half season, 2 full wins. It's again that settled aspect. There's nothing wrong with that. I want to now take you though to another debate. In fact, I'll have a wee look. I think I've seen an Ask the Bus. I'll do that first, and then we're going to talk about the goalkeepers. Because I was watching a pod earlier. I think it was another one from Paul, man against the guy, before everyone starts that carry on. But I fucking disagreed with his points on Cena Solo being a before Schmeichel. And then you seen, because he'd made that point, someone had said, like, well, he should have probably saved the first goal. And rather than just acknowledging that, he didn't want to, because it went against his points. So he kind of didn't back down, double down. We've all been guilty of it, Paul, don't worry. But watch that back, and that keeper's got to keep that out. So, yeah, I think there's still a wee bit to go for Solo. But instead of talking about it, I'm talking about it now. Fuck it, I'll find the next Ask the Bus, and I will just start it. And we'll come back to that one. But yeah, goalkeeper situation is one that I would really, really like everyone's opinion on, because I'm 100% starting Schmeichel as my first choice. Like, no two ways about it. It's Casper in goals for me. It's Solo very, very much the second choice, who's got a whole season, 60 odd matches, to get as many of those picked for as possible. Now, if I'm him, I'm impressing enough, working hard enough, developing enough, learning all the time on the job, showing the right, as Tony Haggart used to always say, the right attitude and application that earns me the starting berth against Falkirk, who we've drawn in the League Cup last 16. And do you know what else? I want more than that if I'm Solo, and I say third round or fourth round, I think, as we join now, the Scottish Cup, I want to be the starter there. I want the cups. Give me the cup games. Bare minimum. But to do that, he's got to earn it. He's got to keep that shot out, for example. I think in the friendly against Al Ali. Just my opinion. I think he should have kept it out. Is anyone else of the mindset that there is a debate to be had right now that maybe Schmeichel's jersey could be under threat for this season? It's a no-brainer for me that he starts. He starts the league games and the Champions Leagues qualifiers, the 2 games in the Champions League. Hopefully it'll be more than that. But for me, it'll be Schmeichel, definitely, and I would completely agree with it. Solo should be in a position going into his second season demanding the cup games. And that isn't because of an ego or an attitude problem that he's demanding. It's because his work ethics, his development, as I say, and his improvement as a keeper has been such that the manager can't ignore it and has to make a compromise to get this guy the game time he needs to keep that development and improvement accelerating to a pace where, if this signing of Solo is what it was described as at the time, then he's bang on ready to be Celtic's bona fide number 1 goalkeeper from the 26-27 season onwards. I think that's really, really important. So therefore, it's on him as well. You know, you've got a 39-year-old there who's not exactly exerting himself crazily when they play each week, but Red Spike's not going to be something that Big Casper's against, I don't think. Maybe a half-time pie, maybe. Just joking, Casper. Just joking. Fucking hell. But I think definitely he's got to a stage now, Solo, in terms of his 5-year deal. He's got his year out the way now. He's getting action in the pre-season. He's had so much opportunity now to impress the manager in training. There's cup games coming. I want to be the cup goalkeeper if I'm not going to be first choice for the league and the champion, or the league in European football, whatever it looks like next season. He should be getting those 2 cups. That is on him to be impressive enough to do so. And I like this AJSC. We'll try that again. A regular on the bus. Great to have you here, mate. I think that says that. That's Moller scoring the winning penalty in the shootout. Andreas Moller, winning penalty in the shootout against England in the... Yeah, I want to say England in the Euro 96 semis. But obviously with the Celtic top over it. Tell me if I'm right, AJ. But he's saying he's got excellent footwork and a great first touch. Again, the goalkeeper's job is to keep the ball at the back of the net. But the modern goalkeeper, these things are crucial, AJSC. But I've got to tell you, remember, I think the first couple of months when we were looking at the levels of Schmeichel's distribution compared to Joe Hart's, and again, I shouldn't have to caveat everything this, but in the modern world, everyone's offended by fucking everything. Can't call someone a plant pot these days with everyone crying about it. I think when I look at Hart's distribution to Schmeichel's, it was awful in comparison. Nowhere near it. So what we do know, and the reason I'm bringing that up is Schmeichel's, let's not forget, an absolute key component of being able to utilise the football when in possession of it, as Brendan likes as well. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, there we go. There's Terry Rob. Yes, boys, aye, good to have you on, mate. Hope you are well. P. McLaughlin says he passed his test at Ibrox. See, when you say pass the test, come back into here, P. McLaughlin. Sinasala. Is it Sinasala, not Sinasolo? What? Wait the new, Michelle. Wait the fucking new. You're distracting me. Wait the new. No. I've actually say this would be brand new information for me. Right, we're both wrong. It's Sinasalo. How'd you pronounce it, Salah? I don't know. Right. So you've backtracked as well, right? Good. At least we both know we were in the wrong. Right, that's fine. I can deal with that. And AJSC. Yep, that is the image of Andreas Muller's arrogant peacock celebration when knocking England out. I knew it was. Best moment of the 90s for me. Was it though, really? Was it? It was definitely up there. Andy Muller was your favourite 90s midfield. He was some player, wasn't he? I wouldn't want to guess what year he was born. I'm really not sure. Shall we try? Let's say 1967. That could be miles off. Andreas Muller. He's 67. Get in there. Right, okay. That was just for some of you who might know that I used to play a wee game called Date of Boys where I could predict players, or not predict, guess, or just know what year hundreds of players from the late 90s, early 2000s were born. I mean, Terry's is CCV an issue. We were okay versus Ajax came on, then we started that passing round the back pitch. I mean, I don't think it's CCV who'll be the defensive issue, Terry, going forward this season, if there is any, of course. I think his back catalogue in a Celtic shirt speaks for itself. I think he'll definitely be someone that we keep as the first choice defender at the whole back four, to be honest with you. And a pre-season friendly, albeit a disappointing result, isn't going to swing that. So no, I wouldn't want to be looking at him thinking he's an issue or anything like that. Good debate going on. You could be starting off there, Big Rabbit. I'm happy to have it on the bus. I like a wee bit of random chat. Best player of the 90s was Romario. Hard to argue. I think Ronaldo's R9. I think Romario. Is Romario the best goal scorer ever? I think there's an argument for that. Most natural finisher ever. Potentially Romario. I still think that R9, he's got, El Phenom. Him in the 90s was a joke. Look at his numbers. I think we went to PSV. We talk about players settling in Scotland. Fuck. He moved to fucking PSV Eindhoven in the Eredivisie, yes. And when he was about 18 for Brazil, hardly you're not going to get a bus there, are you? You know what I mean? It's quite a distance apart. And he didn't get settled, did he? Look at his numbers there. And then that one season at Barcelona, fucking unbelievable goal a game at that age. Difficult debate. Rich Ricky saying Alessandro Del Piero. Firstly, the side jukes and that name just went hand in hand. Can we have that right? Alessandro Del Piero Whether you're the pointy jukes or the big sort, he was like a bit like The Rock for the wrestling. He was like that in the chat. Del Piero, Alessandro Del Piero, and those side dukes were a match made in heaven. Some player was he of that level? I remember talking about crazy elite. Was Alessandro Del Piero world class? Yes. Do you remember 2011? Oh, he's such a Lenny signing he would have been as well. But Lenny apparently very, very much banging the drum to bring in Del Piero at 37 to Celtic. He, of course, went to Sydney, I believe. He went to the Australian League anyway. You can correct me on the team if I'm wrong, but I think it was Sydney. Paul Gilson says, I'd say Baggio would be up there. Yeah, definitely, mate. Hard to argue. Mental amount of clubs he played for. It's funny with Baggio because he's one of those players you could, in Italy, usually they get defined by like the one, maybe two clubs they've been at. Like, give me an example. You look at Maldini, one club man. Yeah. You look at Pirlo and you go Milan, Juve. One, two clubs. Nesta, Lazio, Milan. It was weird, Baggio, because he was at Inter, he was at AC, he was at Brescia, Bologna. But I think he actually had a run at them all, to be honest. I think he played for fucking 18 Serie A clubs at one point, you know what I mean? But yeah, Batistuta. Oh, loved Batistuta McLaughlin. Absolutely loved him. Anyway, we'll go back to Celtic. What did you make of the draw? We get drawn at home with Falkirk. Happy with that? I think so. I think that's what you're looking for, a home draw in the first round. Do we all think there's a... Do you think there is favourable draws that get given to Celtic and Rangers in the Cups? Just putting it out there. I don't think it would just be Rangers. I think it would be both. If there's any at all. That is, but I always do seem a wee bit favourable, albeit because it's home, like a home draw. I'm saying that in terms of yeah, there's Pete McLaughlin. That's what I was thinking. Another home draw. This must be a record. It does seem like we've had a lot of favourable draws in the sense of home or away. We've had it at home. Rangers got Alloa at home as well. No, I've seen that, Mark. Thanks. But it does feel. People go, we've not had an away draw in the cup for 2 seasons. Is that both cups, McLaughlin, or just one? Clarify that for me. But yeah, I wonder if there is an element that sponsorship-wise and things like this, that they just kind of have to be favourable with the draws, Celtic and Rangers, to keep them in minimum, I think, last 4, ideally, that they meet in the final. I think that is the case. Paul McGuire coming in with some transfer news, just hearing that in my earpieces. And he's saying, I'd see we had a 2 million bid for Jacob Bruyn turned down. Let's have a wee look at Jacob Bruyn and see what he's all about. Who is that? Are you spelling this right, mate? I mean, I'll just share what came up in my Google search, mate, because you'll not believe me if I try and tell you. It is, yes. Why is there just a photo of a pregnant bird called the Smeltster family? You winding me up, Paul? Was this some sort of joke? Jacob Bruyn, I'm looking for a footballer. Instead, I get the Schmelzer family pregnant photo. That's the last time I look up him, unless he signs Broom. Oh shit, have I spelled it wrong? Oh no, he did put an N. Right, let's try it with an M. Right, fucking hell, man. Fucking end up getting fucking in trouble. You know what I mean? Fucking dodgy Google search history because of fucking comments in the chat. Brilliant idea. There he is. He looks more like a footballer, doesn't he? Oh, he looks like a footballer. Okay. Interesting. Cool. Well, we will see how he gets on. If we can bring him in, £2 million does seem to sort of be that benchmark fee for a player. I mean, Celtic will probably right now going, well, I mean, what do you want us to do now? We bid our 2 million. That's the whack for each player. Celtic. That's what we 2 million quid. Well, where do we go from here? We need to move on to our next. Let's start exploring options again. Let's find out some more stuff for the next 2 years about our next target. Let's move on from that one. But in the meantime, if you want a 200 grand player for Asia, who we think will be very good for us commercially, have him. Albeit not having a dig at Inamura there, because I know he is actually pleasantly surprising us all, I think would be the case. Mark, there's now a seeding system in the League Cup. I wonder if that's why, or is it an actual raffle draw? I didn't see the draw clearly yet. I'm not entirely sure about that. Kenneth Todd comes in. Great to have you on. They want 6.5 million, and we've started with 2 million. We had this debate on Thursday, so don't want to go into it too much. San Fran Celt was on. Always good value for a good chat, a good ding dong. A member of the bus for a long time, and we do value his opinions, and it's great to have different opinions on the bus. That's what we're all about here on the Bhoycie Bus. Different opinions, being able to argue with each other, being able to debate, being able to kind of tell like it is without anyone getting offended, you know. Not having to dodge around situations because you might lose a subscriber or that. Nobody cares what I'm doing. I'm sound that way. So if we've got something to say, we'll say it. And in the sense of the debate with San Francisco, it was around. I couldn't get his logic when he was saying, you know, it's to try and unsettle the player. We bid so low, then you get him for a cheaper price because he starts putting in transfer requests to his club, or you know, I don't know, heaven forbid goes on strike or something like that. I don't get it because we don't see enough good signings over the line for that to all weigh up and work as smoothly as what was getting suggested. Kenneth said he went 6.5 million. That's less than third then if we'd bid that. 6.5 million euros, says Martin Weir. So about 5.7. So we've went still not even made it to the halfway mark of his valuation. That does my fucking head in. It's just bizarre. Utterly bizarre. Big Rab's in. Good to have you on, Big Rab. All crap about the links. Balak Wisha. I know the one you mean. He was meant to be a done deal. His agent comes out and says no contact from Celtic altogether. I'm just not believing anything. Well, I think Celtic being linked with a player, I don't tend to believe it anymore either, because the proof would be in the pudding. You know, certainly a player valued over 2 million quid. You know what I mean? All right, Punch, how are you, mate? Good to have you in. As you'll see here, I've got in the wee corner. All the comments have just been brought up when I'm doing the solo shows for now, and I think that makes most sense. Gets everyone that screen time. Sometimes you kind of want. I even get that. See if I'm watching something live, like, you know what I mean, like the Smeltzer family. I kind of get my comments in there and hope they get read out and stuff. So it's not, or even brought on the screen. So it's nice that we've got this wee option now that we're going to be utilising for when we're doing the Ask the Bus. Right, anyone got anything else, or should I get the fuck out of here? Oh, there's one for Callum that hand opened up. Cool. Ask the Bus, what front three would you go for next week, and would you like to see Maida through the middle? Does Ida start? Yes. I think it will be front three. I think he's going to find a way to put Negro in midfield. Yeah, I think the front three, if you mean the two wingers and the striker, I think it will be Maida, Ida, Forrest. That's what I think they'll do, personally. The other option would be, of course, maybe put Negro out wide right, and let James come off the bench as an impact sub. If I see Yang in that team, I swear to God, man, honestly, it didn't even bother me. Mark says it will be, though. It'll be Maida, Ida, Yang. Anyone change their mind on Yang, or is it just me who needs his mind changed on Yang? He's shite. Nowhere near it. I'll say it. He's shite. Nowhere near it. He'll need to have had a meteoric summer of training for me to change my mind on that. Not because I wouldn't want to. I would be happy to. But Michelle says Yang is to be the starter. Brendan's already said. Plunging to be Maida, Yamada, Yang, Shin, ahead of Vida already. That would surprise me. That would surprise me. Big Rab. He doesn't believe anything. But now he's saying the head scout was in a hotel in London having meetings last night from what was said on his WhatsApp group. No. Do you believe that, Rab? Trick question, mate. Robbo, I look like Paddy McCourt. It's not the worst one I've heard, to be honest, Robbo. I think in bus history, Robbo, the best one I ever got. I drink like Paddy McCourt as well, by the way. I think the best one I got, Robbo, was this is all true. I brought it up in the screen, just I had to accept it. Was you brush your hair with a toffee apple? This is when it used to be like quite long in that, mate. And it was like probably kind of like this at the back. And brushing your hair with a toffee apple will go down legendary status for that comment, whoever it was. I think I got called Wuzzle Gummidge back then as well, which is fine. But yeah, I'll take Paddy McCourt, mate. I'm happy with that. No, NMB says, look at that player. No, right. I'm all for it. The Derry Pelly Martinez bit. That's how long he's been on the bus. He remembers it. That's class, mate, that you remember that. Thank you, by the way, for always being on the bus then, as long as you have. That really is appreciated, mate, if you can remember things like that. Big Rab. He's on the guy's normally bang on, so you do believe this guy. I don't mind that. He says, but you're on the fence in this instance. That's interesting. But we'll find it. Do you know what, Big Rab? I'd be fucking disappointed if Celtic weren't having these sort of meetings, whether it be in London, Glasgow, fucking Cowie. I don't care when the meetings are, you know what I mean? Right now, rather than going through all these towns like the Proclaimers sang, you know, London no more. It's fucking signings no more at Celtic. Anyway, I am waffling. We've got that stage within 45 minutes. There's over 100 of you live. Please do give us a wee share if you can of the video. It helps get it out there. If you can't be fucked, don't worry about it. I'm eased either way. Remember as well, the.Bhoycie with the same spelling with the H, .bus on TikTok. I am right now under review. I'm going to start going live on there as well because we're always just trying to come up with new ideas. I don't think there's many Celtic podcasts that just go exclusively live in the TikTok. So have a wee look, and I might do some on there and then upload them onto YouTube, and then I'll maybe do some on YouTube and upload clips to TikTok and things like that. Fucking this wee brain just doesn't stop, man. And when I say we, the emphasis in the word we. Talk about my brain here still, by the way. Right, okay, I'm getting the fuck out of here because I am waffling. Anyway, Jonathan will be back. Either I think it'll be Tuesday. We'll hopefully go for it, unless he's in Manchester working. Either way, I will be on Tuesday. Hopefully, Jonathan will be with me, and Mark will be joining me on Thursday as well, as we count down to the new season. And hopefully, we try and count maybe on one finger a new signing. Anyway, have a great rest of your Sunday, whatever you're up to. We're out of here. Thanks very much.